trying to try that Sigma FP camera, and I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I think technology is there to make very good product. The engineering is definitely there. The lenses are super cool, super fast. But based on my initial test on the actual camera itself, I think there's a lacking of a lot of software, because the hardware is there. It's a full size sensor. You can do 10 bits. You can take the L lenses, which is that alliance Sigma's done with a Panasonic, I think, and whoever. But the point is that the camera's software is not there. Autofocus doesn't really work correctly. So yeah, that might not be like a deal breaker for a lot of people. You know, I've used the Pocket Cinema camera, and I like the fact that it's manual. But I think the Sigma FP was targeted at a different crowd, and they offered autofocus, but it's not an autofocus you can rely on. If you could see my initial test, the autofocus is just missing the shots, and you don't want to have a camera that is supposed to have autofocus and it doesn't work, you know. But on the other hand, I went online and tried to see what other people were talking about the camera, and a lot of people seem to think that the camera is good, you know, which make me wonder how many reviewers had the actual camera in their hands and were not reading just from the spec sheets. Because on paper the camera should be an amazing camera, but in reality it's different from that. And I've seen a few videos from Cinema 5D where they meet up with a Sigma representative, they go to the factory and stuff, and Sigma does offer or is offering firmware updates in the near future to allow the camera to do other things that it doesn't do right now. So I think it might have been released a bit too early. I love the fact that it's a modular camera. I love the fact that it's very compact. I think the design is very cool. It's just due to the software not there 100%. So I have debated for the last few weeks if I should finish this review. In my initial kind of findings with the Sigma FP, I had initially, like everybody else online, bought into the idea that the Sigma camera, the Sigma FP, might be a very cool camera. But as you're gonna see now, I'm gonna show you the footage I got, and I quickly discarded the camera because I was not happy with the quality of the footage. I wasn't happy with the autofocus. It just wasn't working. The color profiles were a bit, weird in my opinion. The camera didn't really perform well outside. So I kind of, sat on this footage for the last few weeks and wasn't sure if I was ever going to be able to finish this video. I don't want to trash talk, obviously, the camera manufacturer, but I don't want to put a content on my YouTube channel that I'm not 100% agreeing with. I don't want to say the camera is amazing when it's probably not, The reason I'm finishing this review now is because in the past few days, Sigma announced that they're going to implement new software updates to the camera, and probably the camera will perform a little bit better. I would still have to use the camera again to see if that's true, if anything changed. The fact that the camera didn't have a log profile, that for me is a deal breaker straight away. If the camera is aimed to people that are going to create products with this, like commercials and stuff like that, the camera should at least have, besides the raw capabilities, which I didn't even go near because of my initial kind of findings, were not good enough, so I actually just stopped altogether my review. So what you're about to see is footage shot on the Sigma FP. You can probably make your own mind and let me know what you think. In my opinion, the camera, when I had it in my hand, I had it early January, although looked beautifully, design well built, the software did not deliver the goods. Check out the footage, see for yourself what I saw, and make your own conclusions. This is, again, I'm not getting paid by Sigma or anybody to say anything, so I just wanted to be true to myself, to the viewers, and give an honest review, and kind of not downplay the fact that, you know, I was given this camera for free to try it out. In my opinion, the footage just looks over sharped, very contrasty. It didn't really tolerate outdoors and natural light efficiently. Skies are blown out, autofocus didn't really work. Hopefully it was just my unit that was glitchy. You never know. See for yourself. Let me know what you think. Okay, let's see how good the face tracking of this camera is. I just activated it, and I'm actually also testing the sound level to see if it's clipping or the sound is being picked up by this Rode mic correctly. It's now testing auto ISO exposure. I've locked the aperture and I locked the shutter angle. For some reason, this camera allows you, even when you're in manual mode, to keep aperture and shutter speed auto, which you don't want to do when you're shooting a video, because that might present the problem that if the shutter speed is changing to mad shutter speeds, you're going to get some weird blurs, and when you're doing like motion and stuff. But anyhow, you can't actually go fully manual, just go into the menu and deactivate the auto shutter angle and the auto aperture change. And in this case, I just left auto ISO because I can't actually see myself in the camera. I need some sort of a comfort that the frame is going to be properly exposed, and that's what I'm testing right now to see if the light changes makes the ISO kind of adjust to keep my face in proper exposure.
Remember time. Remember time. Be lost without you. Be lost without you. Be lost without you.
Okay, this is a test of the electronic stabilization. It doesn't have, the lens is not OS or IS or whatever you want to call it, and also the camera doesn't have it inside, like internally. So the only way to get stabilization is by going to that electronic stabilization. I don't know how good it is, and it crops in a little bit, so although this is a 14mm lens in a full frame body, it's still cropping a little bit, so hopefully it's not too tight on my face, and hopefully the footage actually looks not shaky. I'm kind of backlit at the moment, so this might be a bit challenging for the camera to meter the exposure correctly. I have also set eye tracking autofocus, and it doesn't seem to be good. It's very easy to lose focus. It loses when I move or when I go into different kind of lighting conditions. It just loses track of the focus, which it shouldn't, because like I'm literally in front of the camera. So if it can't keep up with this focus, which is like the easiest focus scenario, then it means that the autofocus is not up to speed. So that's a bit of a bummer. My mixed feelings about this camera that's supposed to be good, but don't know if it's, maybe it's ahead of its time. That's what it is. It just looks so cool. Like, why doesn't it not work the way it's supposed to?